Oops. You're not supposed to see that. That's my microphone. Let me double check. What a way to start. Check, check. Hey, check one. You guys get the good look at this one. All right. So that's my microphone. But what's up, everyone? I started a little while ago making a CRM out of Payload, and I thought I would come back to it, first of all, because people have asked for it a little bit. So I thought it'd be good to come back to a project and not use AI. So I'm not against AI. I like using AI. I have used AI quite a bit extensively for work. So I'm not too, I'm not upset with AI. I just want to code something by hand, you know? So I'm going to take some time and just struggle through this, making Payload into a CRM. Hopefully you learn something. Hopefully it's useful. Hopefully I get something from it. I do need to stay sharp with the fundamentals and how all this stuff interacts and works together. Now, I say I'm not using AI. I'm not just telling Claude what to do. I'm going to use AI as a tool, mostly to look things up or to troubleshoot. So this is not a no AI stream. It's just I just want to feel something, you know? I just want to feel something. So I'm going to get started and just I've got my project. The last time we did this, we got our contacts and our companies together, and I have to remember. If I zoom out, I should be able to get. There we go. That's way too far out though. Regardless, okay. So we're going to zoom in, and I've got my tenants here, so I'm just going to select tenant 1, and I should have some contacts and some companies, and I do. If we compare that to tenant 2 with nothing, tenant 3 also has nothing. So we have, I should be logged in with my, so I've got to refamiliarize myself with this a little bit too, because I don't actually remember what we did. So I do have my, my primary user, which I do have, contacts, companies for tenant 1, tenant 2. I swear I did a little bit more than this, but either way, we've got tenant 1 here, and I can see all the users because I am all the users. All right, so we do have our contacts. If I go here, my contact has some information, first, last name, email, just everything you'd expect a contact to have in a CRM. And a lead source, which we could turn into a pick list, but for now I'm going to use... I already want to change that. So if I go over to contacts and I've got my lead source, it makes more sense for this to actually be a new collection. So I'm going to create a new file. Let me close that. So in my collections, I'll create a new file, and we'll use lead source, and we'll have config.ts. We're going to import collection config from Payload. Then we're going to export a constant called lead source, which will be a collection config. Driving me crazy already. Then I can do a slug. My mouse pad is also driving me crazy. The slug is going to be lead source, and then we'll have fields, which will have one field will be a type of text, name, title. Oh, well, I am sad and old, so that makes sense. All right, so type text, email. So I should probably have the slug field in here too. And that's going to take from the title. I don't need that in there. I don't think I'll need the slug for real, but no, I don't need a slug. So we'll take the slug field out. We will have a type also of text, which will be a name of label. And so really, this name should just be lead source. No. Title Oh, actually, yeah, I don't need all that. So we're just do name. All right, so that should automatically show up. It does not. So let's, one other thing. No, not worth it. I can update my project here because I need next to be up here. Luckily, this is not a production project, whatever. 85, I believe, is the most recent. So let's select this. 85.0, replace all. This is going to break a lot, but let's see, pnpmi. And then pnpm dev. All right, let's see if that breaks anything, because that brings me up to 16 instead of next 15. This warning here, this issue is from my ad block here, but I don't need that on localhost. So let's see. Is it not my ad block? Whatever. Okay. I believe it is, but I don't know why it's not going away. So we'll just get rid of that. Now, I guess I need to generate types. All right, so payload generate types. Oh, you know what the problem is. This is why I need to stay sharp. So if I go over to our config, I need to add our lead source. And then in our lead source, we want to do an admin. We want to group it together in our CRM data is what I believe it's called. We will see in a second. And then we can use as title. What? Use as title user does not make sense there. So now that should bring in lead sources. Now we can go over to our contacts again, and then lead source. This is actually going to be a relationship field now, and it's going to be relation to lead source. So now we can go to our contacts. As soon as it loads, I'm really looking forward to when Payload allows for TANstack to, they're making an adapter pattern, at least that's the hope for version 4. But when they demoed it, the TANstack version of the admin UI was just so fast. So I'm really looking forward to that. Until then, we wait. Oh, I forgot, I'm using Postgres. We should use a new, yes. Okay, so that probably didn't help. Regardless, we've got lead source now. Then we can create a new lead source. We'll make this one just Google Ads, make it easy. And then that's it there. All right, so contact, feeling better about it. Good to go. All right, so status active, lead status. All right, then we've got our companies. Stay on page and save. Companies. And in the company, we've got company info and then associated contacts with some information, which is about all we need here. Contact owner, that makes sense. This should actually be company owner. Yeah. So it depends on how we want to do this. So if I go to companies, we'll do company owner here. Because the thing is, sometimes the, that's going to be a schema thing. it's the same one. So sometimes companies might want at the contact level for their owners, whoever is like responsible for the account, but I'll do company owner here for now. So all that looks good. Then we can go to our config, because this is where we have our to-do. So we've done contacts and companies. We have not done deals. So let's take a look. I've got some notes that I want to take a look at to make sure that we are doing stuff. So we'll have deals, which is contacts, companies, media. Lead sources should also be here, or lead source rather. Should be scoped to the tenant, which means that I probably need to recreate that one that I did here. Assign tenant, so maybe I don't need to redo it, but tenant one. Okay, now let me do it there. So if I go to lead sources, create new lead source, do Google Ads, save. And then this should be tenant one, perfect. Then I can go to contacts, get rid of this. And the only one that survives is the one that I can use. So that's perfect. Now, will I need a way? We might come back to change how we actually configure this, because I don't know if I'm going to want a way to actually do like a way to tie these fields together by lead source. So we'll figure that out. Or if we need a way to query beyond the name or the ID. So all that we can figure out later on. So we need a new deals collection, which I need to create. So we'll do that in our collections, new file deals config.ts add. And then we're going to import collection config as always, export a constant called deals, which will be collection config. Have a slug of deals admin. Group will be CRM data. Use as title. We'll probably need like a deal name is probably the best way to put that, but we'll see. So fields, we'll start with a name of deal name, type of text. Then I know we're going to want a name of deal value, which will be a number. And then I actually want this to be in cents. So we'll add a description. As a whole number in cents. And the reason for that is because floats do weird things in computers. So we don't necessarily want to use a float for something as important as revenue numbers. So this is something that we could change in an after validate hook, which I wonder if I could do that now. So if I do a hook, I can do, it should actually be this, after, so it would be before, after read maybe. So we'll do an after read hook, and then we will, it can be synchronous, we can make, it can be async. So we'll do an async where we just need, should be our value, and we can set value to be equal to value divided by 100. I don't know if that's actually going to work, but we'll see in a second. So if I come back over here, we'll have deals there. We'll have deals here. Let that do its thing. Okay, looks like we're good. So then we'll have our deals, create a new deal. Deal value, we'll do just 100. And then this is first deal. All right, so that didn't work. So value, is it data then? Data. Okay, so it's not that. All right, so what else do we get out of this? Field, sibling data collection, original dog request. All right, so none of that is working like I want. So what we could do is just log our data. Oh, okay. So then I need, it's important to log data, I guess. So we've got our value. Let's log data and value. Oops. All right. So in that case, we need our value to be equal to our data deal value divided by 100. Okay, fine. Let's do this. So we'll set not value. I need data. So from our data, we'll get our deal value. If I can do any of this right. So then we have our deal value. And then this problem is that it's possibly null or undefined, in which case, if it is, can't type. What is happening? Did this come back on? No. All right, so one of my extensions is messing stuff up. But anyway, so we have our after read here. So what are we getting? So if I move this up, then we have value. Sorry, data. Deal value, and we're just going to test it out, divided by 100. We get 10, so that should be right. So it's not value we need to set. Oh. Maybe I just need to return. There we go. All right, so that gets us what we need, but we need to show it as a price. So if we just, should we do deal value instead here? Don't think it matters. We'll see. We'll test some things out. So we've got our value. Now we want to coerce this. Do we do a string? No, we shouldn't do a string. So it should stay a number. But can I do decimals here? Yes. But I need it to read that way without being overridden. So we can check then if our previous value equals value times 100, then we return. Otherwise, we need our value as a number, but we want it to have decimals. So what we could do, I don't know if this will actually work, but we can do string and then do pad end but that's going to fail validation. So we need to make this into a number. So 100 shouldn't go to 10 because that's divided by 10. Oh, wait. So it's got 1,000 there. So maybe this is where I can do let's do, I don't actually know what this does, so I'm just messing around now at this point. All right, so this is somewhere where I would want to use my AI assistant for something that I should know how to do, but I don't. So I'm going to pull in Claude here. And just ask it. I have a deal value field that I want to convert to sense in Payload. How can I do that? Use the Payload skill. And it probably doesn't know I'm in this file, but that's fine. We can figure that out later. All right, so while this is working, I'm gonna go over because our companies needs to receive these deals. So what we'll do is we'll have another relationship. And we'll have the name of deals with relation to deals. And then I'm also going to add this to the sidebar. So I can save that, and we'll come back to this in just a second. I have to log in again. I feel like I have to log in so much. First world probs, I know. So let me sign in right quick. And so yes, this is coding by hand, but I am using an AI assistant because it's a tool and it helps me learn. So while I'm asking it how to, or let me put it into plan so it doesn't actually do anything. I want to learn how to actually do this. So that is one value that I think does come from AI. And the payload skill does quite a bit for me. So it understands how it's going to get the data, how it needs to be shaped. But now if I go over to companies, while that's loading up, I can I go to deals here and I can select first deal. I probably want more information than that. We'll see how we want to render this, because we could do a UI field and then build out a few things here. But for now, let's just get our deals fully implemented. All right, so for some reason, it keeps trying to go back to context 7 for payload specific things, but I have the payload skill, so I don't know why it keeps doing this. And then also, I just want a couple lines of code, man. Like, why do we need to do all this? Why is thinking with high effort? I didn't set high effort. All right, so we've got our deals over here. Oh, that is a better way to do this. Enter dollars, store cents. Enter dollars, convert via hooks. Let's do... So that actually may have given me an idea here. So is there a before read? There's no before read here, so maybe my idea won't work. But if it's after read, so if I actually want to store, no, I need to. Right now I am working with Payload CMS and trying to create a CRM, something like lightweight that could replace a simple implementation of HubSpot just for funsies. Not anything that I think is serious right now. And yes, I am hand coding for the love of the game. I'm actually using critical thinking. Can you imagine what that's actually like? So this is honestly the fun part, is trying to figure out these solutions, and especially working with software that I love working with this software in particular. It's so flexible, but that means that I have to like flex muscles that I haven't flexed in a little while. So it's been fun. So I need to figure out what I'm trying to do right now is I want to get the value stored in cents for the database, because the database needs exact numbers. You don't want to store revenue numbers or anything as floats, because then you get rounding errors and all that. So I'm trying to avoid that. So what I want to do is type in either cents or dollars, doesn't really matter, store the cents in my database, and then render as dollars on the front end. So I could either do a UI field that calls that. I could have a read-only field that gets its data from the deal value, and then hide. No, I don't want to hide the deal value. That's a good question. So the question, what made you want to do this? Do you feel less productive / effective using Claude? Neither. So I am honestly a big proponent of coding with AI assistants, but I do believe that the fundamentals of coding is still important when using Claude or Codex or whatever. So if I'm not staying sharp and I'm just letting Claude tell me what to do or just let it do it, I lose the critical thinking part that makes coding so enjoyable, first of all for me, but then also makes me a good software engineer in general. So while I am productive and I am effective with Claude, it's this part that I'm doing now that makes me more productive and makes me more effective using Claude. So I have no problem. Like, I could just send Claude off to do this. I could even just have it do a CRM by myself, whatever. But then I lose part of like the learning opportunity that comes from using my brain to actually make something. So, and then also there's just enjoyment in the struggle and the friction and in the creative process. So that's about it. It's a little bit more philosophical than just not feeling productive or effective. All right, so what do you have for me? Enter dollars, store cents. Enter dollars, convert via hooks. I think I want to store cents and enter dollars. There's no existing data. So we'll see what it comes up with the plan, and I am going to hand code whatever the plan is for two reasons. First, again, this is more of a learning experience than anything. And the second reason is I know Claude can be pretty verbose, especially 4.8. 4.8's been pretty verbose for me, so I want to make sure that I get exactly... I want to get exactly what I want without all the extra fluff. Do I think a lot of software engineers are now more product managerial? That's hard to say. I do think that software engineers in healthier organizations are going to be responsible for their pipeline. And what I mean by that is if a company is getting insight from customers or prospects and they're like, I want this feature. Well, your software engineer likely is a product owner at this point. Like, it's so hard to have multiple engineers working on one code base unless you have insane levels of coordination. So what'll happen is, say you're working on, we'll use the CRM for example. I'm working on the deals aspect of the CRM, and that's my only responsibility. I'm going to be listening to customer calls about how the deals module is being used. If there's something missing, or I hear something on a customer call and I'm like, hey, I could add that, then you go in and you add it. So that cuts out a lot of like the middle rows of product managers, of the scrum masters, things like that, because it's just going to be from the customer's lips to the software engineer's ears. And whether that's good or bad is going to be hard to say right now. We do need to protect our time. And also, one thing that I am learning, and I'm learning it fast, and I'm learning it, yes, just because you can do something, it's the Jurassic Park thing. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. So part of our jobs now also is deciding, and not just deciding willy-nilly, but like deciding what needs to get built and why. Because it's more than just, hold on, let me go full screen here. Because what we do now is, we're still building software, but code is so much easier and quicker and in most cases cheaper to produce now than it was before. It doesn't take me 2 to 4 weeks to implement a feature. It takes me 2 to 4 hours. And so I could just keep doing feature after feature after feature after feature until I get this bloatware. So that's where it comes, so I still think product managers are important because they're the ones who actually own the product and make sure that it doesn't turn into that. But there's just this aspect now of us as software engineers getting feedback from customers and needing to make those adjustments. So it's convoluted. I don't think anybody has the answers right now. We're just doing the best we can. Yes, sorry. Do you think I didn't expect to be talking as much. So next time other questions come up, I will go full screen. But hopefully, I know I word vomited a little bit there, but hopefully that was a helpful answer, or at least got what you're looking for. All right, so I'm not going to use auto mode. I have seen somebody testing out auto mode and seeing that Claude changes their prompt. That's not stellar. So I don't want to use auto mode in general, but I also just want to see, like, what are you doing? So it's made up a plan. It's a long plan, so it has a lot of context. Like I said, Claude is pretty verbose. I don't know what happened between 4.6 and 4.8, honestly. So here we are. Context, end state, remove the hook. All right, it likes to just poke at me and says that the hook is broken. I know the hook is broken, that's why I brought you in. So delete all of it, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. Keep the type number, add a min of 0. So I missed one thing. We need a step of 0.01, which is what's going to give me the decimal value, I think. Perfect. So now I have to wonder, okay, this is bothering me so much. Just, I think it's my, I don't think, I know it's my ad blocker. I'm not going to turn that off though, so ignore the red down here. I'm still screen sharing. Okay, so now we have our deal value. This is in dollars. So I want cents over in my database. All right, so this is now telling me to update admin description as a whole number in cents. Yes, that's fine. Oh wait, enter. So we'll do, this is backwards from what I was planning on doing, but that's fine. Enter the dollar amount. Okay, so now it says enter the dollar amount, add field. So pointing at the new components by string path. So it doesn't have new components yet. Create the custom. Dang, man. I didn't expect this to be so complicated just to change the value of a field. Is it even worth it to do? These are the questions that I think are important for us to actually answer when building anything. Is this actually worth it? Is it worth the effort, the time, or anything like that? So I could just have Claude do this, and I probably will, because I don't want to have to do all this, but I am hand coding, so maybe I will. All right, so let's take a look here, because it shouldn't actually be this difficult. So what does it tell me to do? So I need to add custom components for the field in the cell. So that's the field, the cell would be for the table. Paths are resolved. Create the custom edit form component. Client component. Behavior, the form value, initialize. Yeah, this is actually important to do because it is going to give me float drift if I do not. Okay, fine, Claude, you win. I don't even really care about this feature too much, so I'm just going to do auto mode and I'm going to move on. This is kind of how it goes, isn't it? All right. So what that's going to do is it's going to create a new client component, and that will do a lot of the extra work for me that I don't want to do for the deal value. So we'll come back to this. Don't want to do seed data yet. We could do an activities collection. So what this would be like is in the contacts. So collections, we'll create a new file. This will be activities config.ts. Set it up like everything else. Collection config, export constant activities. Collection config would be a slug called activities. And then I'm just going to set fields to an empty array right now to satisfy TypeScript. And then add activities, which won't do anything yet until I do this. I need to import that though. Okay. So that works until I'm also looking at the wrong side of the screen. But that's okay. Doesn't seem to be bothering anybody. All right. So what is this doing? Oh, it's building. All right. So we'll say that the deal is $100. It does that for me. If I go to the API, I can see that the deal value is 10,000. So that is perfect. All right. And so that's 10,000 cents. All right. So you're done. I don't need you to do a PR for this. But now we should also have our activities, which should go to the CRM data group. And then we're going to have type, and this will be select, where we'll have some options. Name, activity type, where things might be like, we'll do value and label pair, which we'll do phone call, and we'll label this phone call. Then we could do something like text message, maybe email. I'll adjust the labels in a second. What else would there be? So email, text message, phone call. I don't want to necessarily do a note here because there's notes elsewhere. And is this even the best way? Well, we'll start with this. Yes, so I think this is the best way to do this right now. So we'll do text message and then email. And then we can do type. We'll do date, name, activity. Ooh, can't spell. Activity date. Then that would already be the label, so I'm not going to put that in there. We can do admin. Date. I believe format is under here. I really just need, oh yeah, display format. I could do, man, format. Yes, it is under date. Time. It's got to be display format, but I don't remember how to do this. Okay. Picker appearance. That's what I'm looking for. We can do day and time. So now if we bring up activities and we create a new activity, we've got activity, phone call, text message, email, activity, date. Yep, that works. We could do time intervals. I think it's a number. It is. All right, so we can do every 5 minutes because realistically, you could do any of this at any time, really. I can turn it up a little bit here. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Might be a you thing at this point if it's too low, because I can hear that just fine here unless other people are experiencing low volume. Please let me know. All right, so daytime, phone call, message, and then we can do another field of type, which would be, this will be a text area and then name of notes. So then we also want to associate this to a contact. So we want to create it in the contact itself. So we go over to contacts. So we have our notes. Then below that, we have our activity. Activity, relation to, activities, type, relationship. So now if I go to my contacts, go to John Smith, I should see activity. But I really want to see this as a table more than a relationship field. So can I do this rather as a join field instead of, is it relation to still? It is relation to still, and then on activity. So activities. How do I want to do this interaction here? So if I'm going from, I want activity to live on a contact, but I need it to have many notes. So let me see if I do relation to, still relationship, and then I can do has many and do true. Let's see what that ends up looking like. Oh, yes, that's fine. I don't care about any of this data. All right, so we have activity. If I create a new one, I can just say this is a phone call today, sure, whenever. Then I can exit that. So activity 1, so that means I also need to do, oh, there's so much to do. I really need to start focusing in a little bit more. Okay, so for activities, we need our use as title, so let's save this first, to be our activity type. It should be phone call. Did I do this backwards though? So if I go over to activities, value label, I did not. Great. All right, so so phone call, so it's coming through though as the value, not the label. So that tells me, let's just do this. So I don't know if this is actually going to work either, but we'll see. It should, because I'm only giving it one thing to choose from. All right. Might need to restart for this one. I also don't work with Postgres a whole lot, so this may have just broken things. Where is this broken though? Alter table column, activity type. All right, so I would have to run like a true migration to make this work, I think, but that's okay. So we're gonna leave this how it is for now. We can always migrate a little bit later. All right, so we'll have an activity type, sure. And then we could add another one. I really got to think about this. So for activities, because I just don't want it to look like this. I would rather it have a table. So if I'm thinking about this right, I should be able to have a join field here on contacts. So our contact will have a join field. And our activities, though, needs type of relationship, which would be a relation to our contacts. And the name will be related contact. So now, if I go here to our activity, we should have related contact. So if I add this, related contact goes here. Ah! Leave anyway. So I don't think that's quite working like I want it to. Because what needs to happen is we'll have our activity. Our activity is our phone call. Our phone call is going to need an associated contact. I need that associated contact to be populated when I add based on this. Like if I click this, the related contact should be John. So maybe hold on. So if I go to contacts, talking it out here. So we've got our activity. So activities will, let's just do a type of join. I know it needs to be some kind of join field. It's going to be on activities, and it's going to have a relation to activities. Never mind, it doesn't need to be a relation to. It needs to be, what is it that it needs to be? It's missing collection. So our collection should be activities, but this is going to break because there is no activities on the collection of activities, which tells me it needs to be contacts because that does exist. So if I do that, oh, related contact is what it's actually called. Go over here, nope, collection, nope, related on activities. All right, so create new activity. All right, so that looks good. I get rid of this then. And then before I do that, change this to activity. Yes. Whatever. All right, so we have our activities here. I can create a new activity. I can say I called this person at this time and I said this stuff, and I can save that, and now I have it. Perfect. See what the human brain can do? Very simple things. All right, so we've got our notes, which could honestly be this kind of join field too, but I think this is fine for now. So now I can add a new activity anytime, and that works great. So now if I go over to our Acme Corp, I can see my associated contacts here as well. This is another join field. And then I think that's all good. So now we can jump back up to our deals, and I can go to my companies. And then our company has info. So associated contacts should honestly have associated deals, and it needs to do the same thing. It needs to be a join field. So under associated contacts here, we're going to go over to our companies and just do, maybe instead of associated company info, no, I think I want to leave it as that. So then I can, under here in our tabs, still do another tab, which will have a label of associated deals. Then we'll have our fields, which is going to be another join field here. Then we'll join, name would be deals on collection, deals on company. Yeah, so that's important. So let's get rid of this because company right now doesn't have deals. No. Yes, deals doesn't have company right now. So deals needs to have company. So we can just do name, company, type, needs to be relationship, and our collection will be companies. Nope, relation to will be companies. Yes, go ahead and destroy it. All right, so now we have associated deals. I can create a new deal, and I can say this is Acme deal 1, and it's going to be $50,000. Save. Perfect. So we've got our deal value, we've got our associated contacts, and then honestly, in deals, we actually need to have deal date as well. So, and then this could actually be, we need deal date, type date, and then we also need estimated closing, should also be type date. So then these deal dates, so I opened it here and then it closes end of December, we can say, hit save. Now I think we need to add, oh, deal date and estimated closing is there. Deal value tells me how much. Perfect. So in my deal, where's my companies config, what else can I add here? So if I add admin for our associated deals, allow create is true, default columns. I'm trying to see if there's a way to like summarize the data at the end. And I don't know if that there is. So like if I wanted to get total like value. Okay. Companies, we also need stages. So do I have stages? How do I not have a stage? Do I have it on here? I have lead stored. Oh, I do have lead status. Okay, so if I wanted to do this on company, I could, but I right now have it as contact. So the contact, I mean, the contacts who we're communicating with. So that's the important thing. But if we're doing deals at the company level, then we need to have, like, is this company a customer as well? So then, so if it's single product, it doesn't really matter. I could just have this here and then like have it go up to the company level. Or, so I don't think this matters too much. So if I have, this is always one of the hardest things to do, is figure out how to go, like I'm trying to think ahead to what multi-product would look like. So if I were to have multiple products that sell to different users, then I would need a way to track the user's lead status versus the company's lead status. But I do deals with companies. So I would, well, there, you can have more than one deal at a company. I just did that. So really, it doesn't matter. So I could go with our companies. I could have, so I could have something like product owned or interested products, or customer of X product, something like that, where say I have product 1. So we have Acme here. Acme Corp has associated deals. I've got deal 1, and then I have Acme deal product B. Deal date would be, say I opened it March, and then I closed it the end of May, and it was $25,000. I can hit save. So now I can, oh, there needs to be a deal status as well. So deals need statuses. So that would be after our deal value, could do type, would be another select field. Then I'll have, we'll say fields. Oh, fields is the other thing I need. No, I need options. So options, I need name. Name would be deal stage. Oh, Lord. Okay, then I could do label. So we'll label this as, let's just do demo. And then do value of demo. Then after that, I could just do negotiation. Negotiation. Then after negotiation, we could do, I guess, review. And then, oh, we could do closed one. And then lastly, closed lost. So we go in there. So here we've got closed one. And then in this one we have closed lost, save, done, refresh. I want our default columns. So I want deal name, this should be an array. Deal name, deal, I can't type, deal date, closing date, wait, estimated closing, then I want deal value, and then finally I do want my deal stage. Does that bring it here? It does, okay. So I've got closed one and closed lost, so this has product B, and they're in talk, oh no, we're not closed lost yet. Here, we're in demo. So that's pipeline. All right, so we've got our deal stage. Now for closed one here, and we're in talks for a second product now, we need a way here in company info that can tell us which products we have. So I need a products collection. Do I need a products collection? Yes. All right, so I'll do products config.ts. Let's close this. Import collection config export constant. This is products collection config slug products fields, etc., etc. We'll go over to payload config to add products there and here. So now in our fields, that should go away after refreshing. Okay, so we need, this needs to be, first of all, we need a text field for name. Then we need a text field for description, sure. I think that's it for this. So we can have a name and description. So we can do admin uses title name. Then this needs to be, this is not CRM data, so I'm not going to include it in the CRM. So now if I go over to our companies, we can have another relationship field here. There's just a lot of relationships. Apparently CRMs are very relational. Relationship name, this will be, what will this be? Products. That's fine. Relation to products, and then has many, this can be true. So now if I open up the sidebar, refresh. Where did I add this? Why is it there? Why are these over here? Oh, I didn't move it in the sidebar. Duh. Okay, so I can do position sidebar. So now that should pop over there. Now I can add that they are an owner of product B. This is our second product. And then let's actually make product A. This is our first product. So they own product B. They know they don't have product A yet, but they're in discussion. So I can save that. And that tells us then that closed one, etc. Okay, so they've got all that. Then at the contact level, it doesn't really matter what their lead status is. So, because if we put them as customer, then, yeah, so this is the tough part with CRMs. What do I want to do here? Because if I put the lead status up in the company, as I talked about, then we just don't know what it's there for. So we can't put all the contacts, though, as customer because, say, John is responsible for product B, but we're talking to Ali for product B or product A. That makes it a little bit more convoluted. So that's something to actually think about a little bit more. So we'll come back to that. Have I done any of my to-do list? Oh yeah, I did the activities collection. All right, so one thing, so we have our tenant, we have multiple tenants. I don't know how, so if I go to users, so if I go, I'm going to go to my users and I'm going to, oh, I only have one tenant email right now. That's no biggie. I'm not going to worry about that. Oh, it's only been, oh, it's been over a month and a half since I've done this, almost 2 months. All right. So we could do a dashboard with pipeline figures, but let's take a look at what else we have here. So we have our deals collection. So that's good. Scope to the tenant. We have our company owner, which we've got there. So that works. Oh, let's fix that. So if I go over to tenants, we have name, slug, domain, which I don't think I need. Uses title, name. Oh, users. So uses title is email. I'd rather this be name, and then we need to add that. So I'm going to name. I can't type anymore. Type is text. This should be name. And then go here. I can add my name. There we go. So that's done. So company owner looks better. I think we're looking pretty good now. So we've got our deals. So if I go over to deals, I can create a new deal at any time. I can set when I plan on it closing and when I open the deal, the value and the stage. I can then also look at my contacts for this account. So I see that I have John Smith. If I need to add a new one, I can. Then I can see that they are a customer of product B, and this is all of their information for address, company info, employee count, notes. Then we can look at our contacts, which we already just looked at. We can see here that we have activities though. So I can add a new activity. Say I want to add that I emailed them. I did that today at 8 p.m. I emailed John to talk about product A. So then I have that. I don't need related contact here though. So if I go to activities, I can do my default columns just like I did before with activity type. Activity. I don't know why activity is so hard to spell. And then notes. So that should get rid of related contact down there. Perfect. So notes, activity is good. Oh, I also can change the columns there. Didn't think about that. All right. So there's our activities. So let's keep going down the list, see where we're at. Then I've got my lead sources, which we just have Google Ads for now. This is scoped to my tenant, so I can only assign this to tenant 1. Though this could have many tenants. No, that doesn't make sense. It wouldn't be a good idea to have this as a global. Or would it? If I could, I don't want to think about it right now, but I could do a global and then have people be able to add their own. All right, we looked at deals a little bit already. This first deal is trash. I can just delete that. And speaking of trash, I don't want to be able to just delete things right away. So maybe I want to install or use is delete in here, or is it an admin? Oh, trash is what it's called. So trash. If I set trash to true for activities, which is where we're going next, which we also have, I have the trash here, and then I see there's this phone call. It's not doing anything for me. I can just delete it. I can either skip the trash and delete permanently, or I can confirm and then send it over to the trash. And here it'll stay. It's trashed and read only. I can either restore it or permanently delete it. And this is probably good for data governance in general. I want to be able to make sure that my data stays in place until I'm for sure ready to get rid of it. So for this, it's not really anything, so I can just delete permanently. So now let's take a look at what this looks like when I just create a new tenant here. So if I go to my users, super admin. Oh, yeah, that's right. So let's add a new user, create a new user. This is going to be tenant 2, and then my super secure password, Nick tenant 2, and then you are going to be a tenant admin for tenant 2. All right, so I just initialized a new tenant who is going to be able to edit things for tenant 2. So when I log out by moving the next icon there, I can do Nick tenant 2. So now I shouldn't see anything, but I see users. And I think that's because, why can I see users? So I can see, because it's not scoped to the tenant, users there. So if I do that, I should only, I can't assign this to a tenant. So let me test that hypothesis before I move on. So then if I do the correct username, so now if I set users, I have Nick tenant 2. I can't assign a tenant though. Where did these come from? All right, so tenant 2, tenant 1. All right, so we have super admin. So this is, oh, so it already existed. Tenant 3, just to make this super clear, just to make sure I'm not seeing things I don't need to see. We can delete you. And then this is me as an admin. Great, so admin, this is, who is this? This is tenant 1. All right, so let's now, if I look at anything for tenant 1, it's going to be my super admin, and then I don't actually love that, but now I can only see the users there. So now we can go back and do this. Oof, gotta type in my super secure password. Now if I go to users, I should only see the super admin for some reason, and then my tenant admin. So now here there's no media. I can see my own tenant, which I also don't love, but I can figure that out later. then products. So there's no products here. That's because I didn't set one up for tenant 2. But now I can do tenant to product A. This is product A for a new tenant. And hit save. And if I go to our contacts, we can say Ali Smith, A Smith at acme2.com. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And our lead source does not exist because I haven't created one yet. So this is organic search because why not? That still happens sometimes apparently. They're active and they're an MQL. I don't need to do anything there. There's no activities. So I need to add a new company too. So this is going to be Acme2, manufacturing, acme2.com, phone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, company owner. Oh, yeah. All right, products. They have product A. Product owner is going to be tenant 2. Again, they're at Nunya Drive in, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, United States. They have 250 employees. This is tenant 2. If I hit save, let's create new, paste a URL. Pick some photos. We'll just do 100 by 100. I don't really care about the alt text right now. I can save that. Now I can save this. So we got Acme 2, we've got notes. Now if I save this, that validation saved me. I added them just today. Phone call 810, added Ali. Good conversation, solid MQL. Can save. All that looks good. So now that company was created, that lead source was created. There's no deal yet, activities, but I can go to companies, and then I can see the associated contact, and then I could add a deal as well. So that's a CRM right there. There's a lot that is not in the CRM right now, such as like email. There's some pipeline stuff I actually want to add, which is one of my to-do items here, where I could do pipeline figures per tenant using Payload's modular dashboard. So instead of this, we might be able to set some stuff up now. Let's take a look. So what have we got? How do I do this? I don't remember how to do this, honestly. So I can go to Payload CMS. Because there's this dashboard, I can edit it, but I don't have anything to add. Is there a widget? Is it admin? Man, I don't remember how to do this. Oh, dashboard widgets, perfect. Is that my video? It is my video. Does that make sense there? Ah, sweet, young, innocent me. All right, back. Wrong. Down. All right, dashboard widgets is what I'm looking for. So, all right. Admin dashboard widgets. So we could do dashboard widgets. Then all right, so here's where it gets fun. So we're going to leave our widgets empty real quick. So if I add, let's refresh. Dashboard, add, there's no widgets yet. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a components folder in our source directory, app directory, source. We'll create a new file, be components, and I'm going to do pipeline widget.tsx. And then I'm going to just export, this should be camel case. Rename pipeline widget. Then we're going to export constant, let's do it as a function. Export function pipeline widget, and this is actually going to be default. We're just going to return a paragraph that says test. So our widget's going to have slug. This will be pipeline widget, which is probably not the best way to do a slug, but that's okay. Then we need our, what's needed? Oh, component. Then I will copy from root. All right, pipeline widget. There it is, test. I can do full as well. Doesn't really matter. So now we can start making some changes. So looking at the widgets, you can add fields, which I may do, but really what I want to do is this. So we're going to import our type of widget server props from Payload. We're going to get our request from, or request. We could get payload too, but do I need the actual request as well? I don't think I do, so I'm just going to get payload from there. Then we are going to get pipeline. So if I go to our deals, oops, cancel, discard, deals. We're going to create a new deal. This is going to be widget test, deal dates, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Deal value, 25,000, deal stage, closed one, company, Acme 2. So now from our payload, we should be able to yes. So we'll get closed one deals, and that's going to be from payload. We're going to find in our deals where deals where deal stage equals closed one. I believe that is correct. Deals, nope, closed one as a slug. Closed one. Then we'll return if no closed one, we will return nothing. Then otherwise we can do closed one. I need to see what this information looks like. So we will just log closed one docs. Then I can go here, dashboard, edit dashboard, add collections. No. Add pipeline widget. So we get test, but if there's no closed one, oh, I added closed one already. But we can actually test this. So if closed one, turn null. Yes, it's great. You do closed one docs. Deal value. So then that will come back as 25. All right. So we're getting the number, so that's good. But what we would want to do is map through each of these and then add them together. So I think there's a way to do that without being crazy. Let's ask Claude. How can I sum up the single property of, I want to ask this a little bit more specifically. I have a field in my deals collection called deal value. I would like to map through in my pipeline widget TypeScript file all of the deal values and then sum them up together and return them as a value in my widget. Let's see what happens. So if there's no closed one, we can return null. And how I would actually do this is I would want to fetch, honestly, I want to fetch all of my deals. So I should actually just get deals, and then I can break it out from that, where I get closed one is going to be set equal to deals docs map, filter, and we're going to get any deal with deal stage equals closed one. I can figure out how to do all this later. Because what I would want to do is like break this out in a stacked bar chart, but I don't feel like pulling out recharts when I want to be done with this in about like 10 minutes or so. So that'd be next, I think. Keeping close one. Let me rewrite that. I don't want you to do it for me. Shoot, it's going to do it for me. Fine, okay, what are you doing? No, go ahead, you do it, that's fine. All right, so it's returning all the deals, which I should have done. So limit 0 in payload is going to bring back all the deals. That means everything will be summed together. We just want the deal value and the deal stage. That makes sense. Depth of 0 means I'm not fetching any relationships, which is okay. We're going to request the, we're going to thread the request. That way we have our transactions and make sure our access control is respected, and remove the override access. We don't want that. So, reduce. Got it. Okay. So I don't want to do all that, but default value then closed one. So then I could do closed lost. And then I'll just do one more so we can see it. We probably wouldn't do anything with demo, so let's just do negotiation. And then do something like, I guess a table. Let's return a table value of the closed won, closed lost, and negotiation constants I just created. So while it's doing that, I will save changes, go to deals, create new demo. Doesn't matter what the date is. Deal value. I got rid of it. Don't need you to do that. Test demo. Sure, today. 250,000. 250,000. Yeah, 250,000. This is in demo for Acme 2. Then we will duplicate this. Oh, I wanted that to be negotiation. That's fine. I'll fix it. Test closed, lost. Okay, so go back here because I want test demo to be test negotiation. And I can't spell. I still can't spell. Negotiation. That looks right-ish. So we can come over here. I can see closed won, closed loss, and negotiation. So if that doesn't look great, obviously I can always fix it up and do like actual custom UI, kind of make it match all of this. But that gets me in the game because now, say closed won, we actually move our test negotiation. The deal changed. It's not actually that much. It's 100,000 instead. And we won it though. So I can go to save, go back, and now I see negotiation at 0. And here we could actually do I think this is right. So all right, whatever. Not worth doing. I can just leave it at 0 for now. All right. So, did a lot of good work here. To sum up, because I need to wrap up. What we did is we got our deals collection set up, and they look pretty good. So I'm excited for that. The deals are then a join field on our companies. The companies then can allow us to create deals from there. And we then have our contacts, which are attached to our companies via join field as well. And those contacts can each have activities. So those activities can be created from our contacts or from our actual activities. The same with lead sources, but that's a little bit more or a little bit less complicated. This is just now naturally scoped to tenant, so I don't actually have to make any adjustments there. All of the tenants have their own users, they have their own products, and they all have their own lead source, activity, deals, contacts, companies. So everything is completely separated, which is great to see. So what we do maybe next time is we figure out a little bit more for the admin dashboard. We figure out a better, some like pipeline metrics. Probably will use AI for that because it's really good at making data, like first of all, look pretty, but then second, just parsing out exactly what I want with that in a way that makes sense through Payload. And then we have, sorry, I'm looking at my screen over here too. I have seed data to see fully fleshed out CRM. I say we did that. So what we could do is, I don't know what else there is to do after this. So let me look at, I have notes still. So if I look at my notes, we also did the company owner. We fixed that up. We added names to our contact owners as well, which I thought is a nice life update, quality of life update. Where are my notes? There they are. Okay. So let's pull up, what are we looking at? We're not looking at me. So let's change it back to my face. Then I'm just looking at Obsidian here. So I'm going to go File. We're going to look at CRM. All right, so we looked at our deals collection. We did a relationship. I don't really need relationship. What we could do is to do relationship between user and deals, because we do need to actually add deal owner to deals. So the deal owner is probably the contact owner, but we want to be able to attribute that deal to an actual user. So back to my face, just so I'm not typing stuff. All right, then we've got, all right, so we've got our value, currency, stage, expected close date, contact, company. I should have been looking at this before. Probability, probably be good to add. Add probability to deals. All right. Stage field as a select. Lead, qualified, proposal. I can actually add that now. Screen with face. Back to it. If I go back over to deal, I've got demo. So I'm not going to do everything that I did before. So I don't need to do lead. Demo is probably qualified. We can do a proposal here, which makes sense. Proposal after the demo. Negotiation, review doesn't really make sense. Closed won, closed lost. That makes sense. All right, so all of that is done. We will set up deals between the user to owner. Don't need to scope anything else out. Don't need to seed anything because we'll just add things as we go. All right, so then we added activities, which, am I still sharing my screen? Yep. So over in activities, we could actually add one that I forgot. What if we had a meeting with them? We went actually and met with them, or did a call with them. That was not a phone call. We don't need a subject, or the description here is enough with the notes. Date and time, duration, I don't think really matters. All that can come in the notes as well. Relationship field to contact, yep. So in my notes, I wrote that an activity can be about a contact, a company, or a deal, or multiple. I don't think that's true. So I don't think we need to worry about that, though I could do that with Payload. I don't think I need to do it. Build out. Activity views. Oh, that's actually a good idea. So what we can do is to do split out activities into contact tab, and then maybe we do revisit. We can do look at polymorphic relationship with activities for deals and company. Maybe, we'll see. I don't know if I actually want to do that. It's not going to be difficult. I just don't know if it's worth doing. Then back to our notes. On a deals page, okay. Don't need to do any of that. We could also do customize join field with UI that brings in a table or feed view. If I want, we'll see. All right, so and a lot of the stuff that we haven't done is the things that make something a fully featured CRM, which would be like hooks and automations. So all of that, I think, is stuff to take care of next time. I've done this for quite a long time. I mean, almost 2 hours. Not that long, honestly, in the grand scheme of actually hand coding anything. But I think this is a good place to call it quits. So thanks for joining me on this stream, on this video. I hope you found this helpful or at least enjoyable watching me do the struggle. You can find me on X, LinkedIn, wherever. X is NLVogel. Then I've got my name on LinkedIn. You can follow my newsletter. This is in the description. It's Next in Dev. It's a newsletter that gets all of the news from all across the internet that I can find, and then digests it into an easy to read newsletter so you can stay up to date with things that actually matter in the web dev industry. Then, of course, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and check out my course, Payload Essentials, to learn how to do this kind of stuff up in here and not just in Claude. So you can find that at my website, nlvcodes.com. Again, all that's in the description. But yeah, hopefully this was good. Hopefully you liked this. Hopefully you learned something. But I don't know how to end this video. Regardless, I'll be doing this again. I have another stream coming up on Wednesday. I'll be doing another build stream next Monday, so hopefully you'll join me there. But until then, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.